watching the market change and watching all the people that came here 20 years ago age and start to need services, and there is no assisted living here whatsoever. There is some in Panama City, which is an 8-hour drive from here or a 1-hour flight. But in our little town and in the other little towns like Boquete, there's nothing. I said, what if I built a little community for elders in this area and offered those services, both independent living and mildly assisted, to get started, and people could have a higher standard of living.
Yeah.
They could thrive in their elder years at half the price you can live in the States or buy this kind of thing in the States. And that's my next project. Is I'm gathering investors and I'm going to be building this little community here in Bocas.
By a show of hands, how many of you make less than you think that you are worth? Why is that? It's time for you to put your foot down and say, enough. Luckily, you're here at the right time and the right place. The most wonderful real estate podcast ever is the path that you seek. I'm Dwanbenttwyford, and I have closed over 2,000 deals. I've been investing for over 30 years. I've seen all the markets. And I've done over $500 million worth of deals. I mean, think about that. $500 million worth of real estate. And I have a heart for you. I want you to walk my path with me. Your life is about to change. And do you know why? Because it's time to thrive in 25. Say it with me. It's time to thrive in 25. It's time to thrive to 25. Enjoy the show. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the most wonderful real estate podcast ever. I'm your host, Dwanbenttwyford, and I took my name Dwan and Wonderful, and I made a new name, which is Dwanderful. So you are now part of the Dwanderful real estate investing world. I'm at Dwanderful.com, and our motto at Dwanderful is people before profits. So if that's something that resonates with you, stay, listen, watch, have some fun, and then subscribe, follow me, and let's be friends. So I have a great guest today, Ann Michelle, and so we just jump right in. Yeah, I don't need this long 10-minute intro. We just jump straight in. So Ms. Ann Michelle, how are you today?
I am absolutely wonderful. And yourself?
Perfect. And I love your background. We were just talking. You live in Panama.
I do. I live in a place called Bocas del Toro, Panama, which is an archipelago of islands off the Caribbean side.
All right. So what time is it there?
It is 1:23.
In the afternoon?
In the afternoon, yes.
Okay. So we're only an hour off on our time.
Yeah. You're in Florida, right? So we're right now.
I'm in Colorado right now.
Yeah. Oh, you're in Colorado right now? So you're an hour the other way.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we don't change times. So during the summer, we are an hour we're in Central Time. And then during the winter, we're on Florida time.
Yeah, I know. I wish we would stop changing time. Yeah, honestly, it is so annoying. And, I get why they do it, but it's like, honestly, there's states that don't do it. Countries don't do it. It's like, why do we change time?
Yeah, I think we don't need it anymore. And maybe someday they'll quit doing it.
I don't know. Trump talks about he's going to undo it. And I'm like, yeah, but the person before that said that. And the person before that said that. And the person before that said that. I'm like, just change it and just leave it. Because it's just, I don't know. It's weird. Like Arizona doesn't do it. A couple states, they don't do it. And it's like, you know what? If they can not do it, why does the rest of the country have to do it? It's annoying. I do like the summer months though, because it's late, really dark. I mean, it's light, really late. So I do like that. But gosh, in the winter, especially in the mountains, it starts getting dark at 4. It's like, it's 4. Why is the sun setting right now? Why is it dark up here?
Here in Panama, it's the same 12 hours light and 12 hours night all the time because we're so close to the equator. So the sun rises at 6:30 and the sun sets at 6:30.
Nice.
All the time.
See,
so
that would be really nice.
That late night light.
Nice. I love that. So I like to just start my guests off. Tell us what you do, and tell us how to find you on social media. Then I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions and find out how you came to be Miss Ann Michelle.
Okay. Well, I'm Ann Michelle Wan, and I have a company called Passive Profit Partners. So that's my current company where it's like a family office where I gather investors and we do projects that I feel are important to produce in this day's world because, especially in Panama, but worldwide, there's a shortage of housing for seniors. And I can get more into that later, but I'm a developer these days, evolving through my real estate career. I'm now a developer and I build homes and multifamily projects. So people can reach me. I have a profile on LinkedIn with my name, Ann Michelle Wand, and also a page for my company, Passive Profit Partners. That's probably the best way.
Okay. Is Passive Partner Profits on Instagram or Facebook or anything?
I do have an Instagram and Facebook profile, but I don't post on it as much as I do on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I get you. Okay, so I like the fact, so you started off investing here in the States.
I did. I started my real estate career similar to you as a single mom.
Yep.
I got divorced and needed to figure out a way to support my kids and myself. And I got a job to start with, but discovered real estate. And the way I discovered real estate, because I knew it was going to create a retirement account for me. I was smart enough to know that, but I had to figure out how. So I studied from people that were experts in the field and learned how to do fix and flips and subject tos and buy and holds and rental property and all of that stuff, just, very similar to you. But my first deal was an excess land deal. I found a house on the edge of Boulder, Colorado.
Okay.
And it was in an area they called Dog Patch because the houses were kind of run down and they were on bigger lots, 1 acre. And I was able to buy that house on the acre. And I found out that if you subdivided it into 4 lots, you had to annex to the city. And then you could hook up to the city services. You could subdivide it into 4 lots, one with the house. So my kids and I lived in the house and fixed it up. And I divided it up into the 4 lots, sold 3 lots. I had borrowed the down payment for it, didn't have the down payment, paid that back, and bought 2 other properties. And I said, wow, I'm sold on real estate.
Yay. I know. It's so crazy how, like, going through divorce, like for me too, getting into real estate, and then it turns into like such a giant career. It's like, I never would have imagined that this would be my life.
Well, I didn't either in the beginning. I started out actually putting myself through beauty school and becoming a hairdresser and then starting my own salons. So while I was doing the real estate on the side, I was running these 2 salons and very successfully. And that's another great story of my beginning, very close to when I bought the house. I found a little shop called London Hair. I don't know if you've ever been in this position, but when I had my job as a hairdresser, my boss didn't appreciate me. Have you ever had a job where your boss didn't appreciate you?
So many. That's why I have to work for myself now.
Exactly.
So many.
So my boss didn't appreciate me, and I went looking for a better opportunity. And I found this lady that owned London Hair, and she'd owned it for 17 years. And she was in a little house on the main street of Boulder. And it was really unique because she had brought a London phone booth from London and planted it in the front yard.
Oh, so fun.
And the house itself was a historic house that the CU's first woman faculty member had lived and died in.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really interesting. And it was a duplex, and she had her little salon on half of it. And the little old lady that then lived in the house had a life estate on the other side. So I bought the business from her. I had just sold one of the lots, so I had a down payment for the business.
Yeah.
I paid her off in about 3 years. And then she also owned the house, but I had to continue with the life estate for the little old lady. And I did that happily. So I bought the building from her too, and she financed it because she was of an age of wanting to retire,
Yeah.
and she was willing to owner finance, and it took me 10 years to pay that one off. In the meantime, the little old lady died, and I expanded the salon and added nails and massage. And later in my career, when I decided to go full-time into real estate, sold that whole thing.
No, that was a good start though, because you were doing hair, which you liked. And you built a little business and had some property and sold that. And then I love that story. And then went full time into real estate. That's amazing.
Yeah,
So that was in Boulder, right?
That was in Boulder, Colorado. Yes.
Nice. Good for you. Good for you. Yeah. I mean, it's not easy, as a single mom buying a salon and running that and taking care of the kids. How many kids did you have?
I had 2 boys. They were 9 and 10 when I got divorced.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, my daughter was 8 months old. So I guess, not that divorce doesn't so affect kids. She just always grew up with just me. So she doesn't know any other way. But, you still don't have a father in the home. And, divorce is an ugly thing. But sometimes out of the ashes, the phoenix rises.
Exactly.
So, all right. So when you were doing as I want to talk about your developing and stuff like that. So then you were into real estate for how many years before you said, hey, I'm going to move to Panama and I'm going to start building and doing things and.
Right. Well, I always had this dream about living on the Caribbean Ocean. Since I was a kid, I wanted to live on the Caribbean. And when I went to college, I chose colleges that were on the ocean and ended up going to the University of Miami in Florida,
nice.
Oddly enough, but ended up in Colorado with my kids and my marriage. So, I lost my train of thought.
That's okay. We were talking about getting from the real estate to starting to the building and the developing.
So after I sold the salons, I went full-time into real estate and I got my real estate license and I became an agent, mainly because I wanted to be able to find properties as soon as they, on the MLS or before they got on the MLS. And I did. And I continued to invest in single-family homes. At one point, I owned 5 single-family homes in Boulder. I had a duplex in Longmont and a 44-unit apartment building in Denver. And so at that point, I decided to sell some of those things and try my hand at vacation homes. And I bought a vacation home with my sister in Hawaii on the island of Kauai. And it was a little cottage on a hill, not on the ocean, but really sweet, with 2 smaller cottages that we could rent out. So I spent the next 5 years visiting there with my sister and sometimes without my sister, renting out the cottages and ended up enjoying Hawaii, but it wasn't the right place for me, my place in the sun, right?
No, I love Hawaii too, though. It's great there.
It's great. It's great to visit, but I didn't end up staying there. Sold that and then started looking at what Hawaii made me realize was that I wanted to be closer to the U.S. mainland, because I want to be able to visit my family easily. I wanted it to be a less expensive place to live, but still on the Caribbean with friendly people. I didn't find the Hawaiians terribly friendly. And
the people that are born and raised there, they're not that friendly to outsiders.
Exactly.
I found that too.
Yeah. And with a little bit warmer temperatures, because the ocean temperature in Hawaii is 78, and my favorite is about 82. So yeah, you can relate.
Oh yeah, no, I'm a beach girl, so I am a beach girl. I go to Florida. Sometimes I go to Florida to our house in like July and August. But I was like, it's so hot. I'm like, it's baking. It's perfect. I can paddleboard on the lake. Because in the winter, I love it in the winter too, but the water's too cold.
Yeah. Yeah. Here in Panama, you can swim year round in 82-degree water. Oh. It's just beautiful.
Sounds like a dream.
I next traveled by, I was single for a long time after my marriage, and I traveled with my girlfriend, and we decided to travel all through Central America, seeing if there was a place where we wanted to be. And we went to Puerto Rico. We went to Nicaragua. We
Yeah.
went to Guatemala. We went to Belize. We went to Costa Rica 3 times. It was really hot in the 90s, and we thought
Oh, it
Costa
was.
Rica was going to be it. But somehow, every time we went to Costa Rica, we either didn't find what we were looking for. It was either too remote or too expensive for our budget at the time. So I saw this little ad in a newspaper I used to subscribe to, and it said, cheapest land in the Caribbean. And it happened to be in Panama, Bocas del Toro, Panama. And we were in
Huh.
Costa Rica at the time. So we decided to take a side trip, go to Panama, and see what happened. And the rest is history. We arrived there on the little plane, those puddle jumpers. I don't know if you've traveled like that. You probably have. And go in at this small airport, get off the plane and look around. And it already looked inviting. The temperature was perfect. There was breeze. These little shacks were everywhere. Colorful,
Very colorful.
Reminded me so much of Key West in the old days, like in the 50s.
People don't know. How old are you?
They don't know.
You don't know how old you are?
How old am I?
You. How old are you?
I'm 74.
Okay. So I'm 66. So we remember Key West when it was like Key West.
Yes.
You'd go and it was like shorts and flip-flops and it was casual and everybody was amazing. And it was my favorite. At one point, I was living in Fort Lauderdale and I thought, I'm going to move to Key West because the people. And then I don't know what happened over the last, decade. It just got fancier and fancier and they got rid of all the old things. And now you go there and I drive the whole place. I don't recognize anything.
Yeah.
But in the day, it was like, I know what you mean. It was like just the greatest place. Everybody loved everybody and everybody just hung out and you just make friends everywhere. And those conch houses. It's like, I used to love Key West.
When I got to Bocas, that's what it was like. Key West in the old days. And so I liked it right away and ended up buying some land, 2 pieces of land, one on a little island called Solarte, because there are 9 islands here where people inhabit. And you get everywhere by boat. And it was so exciting and adventurous to think about and to want to do. And then I bought a little piece of commercial land in the town of Bocas called Bocas Town. For several years after that, I went back and forth from Boulder to Panama, visiting whenever I could and just enjoying it, on every vacation. And the vacations got longer and longer. And I still was operating my business, which was real estate in Boulder. And lo and behold, a year after I bought those 2 properties, somebody convinced me to go to the mountains of Panama. And I didn't want to go because I said, I lived in the mountains. I'm from Colorado.
Yeah.
I've had enough mountains, but they said, you got to go. It's just absolutely stunning. So I went and I went to a place, a guy who had moved there, an American expat who moved there and married a Panamanian, moved from Breckenridge. I think he was originally from California, but he moved from Breckenridge, a tech guy. And he had bought an 80-acre coffee farm up there. And he was developing it into a gated community with about, 20, 30 homes and a river running through it. And coffee, it was a coffee plantation. And he left a lot of the coffee on the hillsides. So it's just gorgeous. And he put a 9-hole golf course along the river.
That sounds fabulous.
Was just platting the roads at the time, and I couldn't resist. The prices were so incredible. I bought a 3-bedroom villa to be built. They build it for you on the 3rd hole of the golf course, even though I don't play golf.
Yeah, me either.
It didn't matter. And it was beautiful up there. It looks just like the Rocky Mountains, but in tropical foliage.
Oh, yeah. No, I love the tropics. So is that how you decided to get into being a developer?
Well, no, I didn't develop for many years after that. For a while, we would split our time 3 ways now. We'd be in Boulder and then go to Boquete, which is where this little mountain town is, and then down to Bocas, 3 months, and 6 months in Colorado. Well, gradually, we decided that we wanted to be, because by this time I was remarried. Okay, so my husband and I and our kids are all grown.
Yeah.
My mom passed away and all that. And I was waiting for a lot of that to happen to be able to make a move full time. And so my mom passed away in 2006.
I'm sorry.
And then the crash happened in 2008, right? And that was the catalyst that said, you know what? We've been waiting to move to Panama. This is the sign. Let's do it.
Good for you.
We did. We moved to Panama 2009-10 and started building on the lands that we had purchased.
So you had said that some of your interest was housing for elderly. So tell me about that.
Well, as I've developed my career here in Bocas del Toro, Panama, I get to see what goes on and keep tabs on the market, right? Much like you probably do in Florida.
Mm.
And maybe Colorado. And for a long time, I kept tabs on Colorado too. But I actually ended up, when I first moved here, I could see a boom happening and I couldn't resist. I opened a real estate franchise here and ran it for 10 years and had a lot of fun showing property in a boat to everybody. So I still wasn't a developer, except I was developing my own properties.
Right.
The little commercial property where we had offices, and my girlfriend, who was my partner, had a spa, and we had some rental cabins and things like that. And then my husband and I built a house, our own house, on about an acre of ground that we have on the island of Salarte. So after 10 years of running the franchise, I decided, okay, it's time for me to try to retire again. You know, I seem to be able to do that. And I sold the franchise to a nice young couple who want to take it to the next level. They're doing very well, and they rent from me.
Good.
So that worked out perfect. And I started building one house a year to sell, just to have fun, keep myself busy. And there was a shortage of houses in the $200,000 to $400,000 range. So with me just building one house and selling it per year, I did pretty well. I'm on my third house right now. I just put it for sale, I think a couple months ago. And watching the market change and watching all the people that came here 20 years ago age and start to need services, and there is no assisted living here whatsoever.
Really?
Nothing. There is some in Panama City, which is an 8-hour drive from here or a 1-hour flight. But in our little town and in the other little towns like Boquete, there's nothing. I said, what if I built a little community for elders in this area and offered those services, both independent living and mildly assisted, to get started? And people could have a higher standard of living. Yeah. They could thrive in their elder years at half the price you can live in the States or buy this kind of thing in the States. And that's my next project. Is I'm gathering investors, and I'm going to be building this little community here in Bocas. And
that is so cool.
In Boquete as well, if it goes well.
I trust that you are loving the podcast. Hey, do you really want to become a super kick-ass superstar real estate investor? Really? 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 All right, why don't you spend the next minute and just take my real estate investing quiz. Super fast, super quick. It'll let you know where you stand on your journey. The link is in the show notes, or you can go to Dwanderful.com. And back to the show. So the passive partner profits, what is that? Is that people that are looking to invest with you?
Yeah, that's the company that I formed to be able to accept investors. It's an LLC with me as the general partner, and the investor partners would be the limited partners. So
are you going to be doing syndications with that?
It's not, I don't call it a syndication. It's not, because I'm not in the US. It's more like a family office. These partners are going to be more like my family, where we're going to group together and do a property together, except I'll take the lead on it.
Nice. Yeah, that is so neat that you're doing that in Panama. I didn't realize in some of those countries that they don't have places for. What did the seniors do?
Yeah, well, the Panamanian culture in the past has always taken care of their elderly at home. And maybe it was that way in the United States 100 years ago too, right? But as the people get more educated and they start traveling and becoming, because the middle class here in Panama is developing, unlike the United States where it's dwindling.
Right.
Here it's developing, and there's a lot of businesses that need to open and that are opening, and the middle class is growing, and they are just demanding certain services. And I think that elder housing is going to be one of them in the future. So it will be not only for expats, but for the educated business owners of Panama as well.
Yeah, I love it. My husband and I have talked about someone down the road. It's like we should open up some senior living where everyone, and like instead of like, you know how they play like the quiet music, it needs to be like Rolling Stones and Led Zeppelin, and let them all smoke pot like they did when they were, in the 60s, and have like a rock and roll senior living. Like, here's your weed, here's your wine, here's your whatever. We're playing,
Yeah,
the
that's a good
Beatles,
idea too.
the Rolling Stones, and like just like all the people in their 60s that are, they're in the 60s that were like in their 20s, like let them relive that in their older age.
Absolutely. That's a great idea. That's a great idea. I don't know that I'm going to do the theme with weed and everything. It isn't legal here yet, but
Oh, wow. I don't even
but
smoke it, but I just know that like everyone that I knew, people that I know now, because I'm 66, but are like a decade older that were, in the, like I graduated high school in 77. So like
yeah,
my 20s were really in the 80s. And it was
yeah,
like disco, and like that was
yeah.
my 20s. Oh my God, people that were in their 20s, like in the 60s, they just
No,
like
totally. You've got
partied. They were like, hippies and flower children. They went to Woodstock. It's like, how much fun would that be to let them live their elder years like
that
that?
was me. That was me. I graduated in 1969, and Woodstock was 30 minutes from my house where I grew up.
Did
Yeah.
you go to Woodstock?
Uh-huh.
You went to Woodstock?
Did I went to Woodstock.
Oh, man. I tell you, I look at that and I'm just like, that had to have been such a once in a lifetime thing.
It was. It was absolutely a once in a lifetime thing. I didn't stay the whole time, but I did enjoy myself.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
I can imagine. I have some friends that used to go, like, oh yeah, we dropped acid, and we hung out, we did this, we did that, and like, and I'm not like pro drugs. I don't smoke weed, on all that stuff's legal. I don't do any of that. But it's like, if you could like relive those years and at the other end, I feel like people would be so much happier.
I think that some people want to do that. My community is going to be called Active Agers because I want people to thrive in their elder years, and create the next blue zone, eating healthy food and doing great activities and immersing yourself in the culture and stuff like that.
Yeah. I think that, I mean, my mom's 88, so she lives in assisted living. And like, I guess she lives in a senior building, and they have like
Yeah.
a nurse on staff, but you live independent.
Yeah.
But I see her not being as active and not going to they have activities every day. She doesn't do as much stuff as she, and she's like, oh, I'm 88, I'm tired. And I look at my 98-year-old aunt, and she lives at her house and she goes walking every day for a mile every day, 98 years old, just, and I'm just
Wow.
like, and if you don't really put people in a situation to really stay active,
Yes.
they decline so much.
Exactly. Exactly. So, no, I don't want to make it like a big apartment building or anything like that. It wouldn't fit here. It'll be little tiny homes so people can have privacy, but it'll have a big central area for activities and lots of activities for people to do, including alternative therapies and pickleball and a nice library and a game room and all kinds of fun stuff and great food.
That sounds like that'd be really fun. After you get a couple of those built, let me know. Maybe Bill and I will invest in a couple of those over there.
Well, you never know. I will let you know once I get started. I have some investors coming down in a couple of months, 6 to 8 weeks and I've already got the land picked out to show them. So
I think that sounds like a really super fun thing to do. And you're at that age too where you're wanting to retire, but so you're building and developing as you want to stay active and
I
things
want to
like
stay
that.
active. That's what
Oh,
keeps
yeah, me
me
too.
young. And, I may end up living there in my 90s. Who knows?
You might. You might. You never know. You might be like, hey, this is amazing. I'm going to live over there just because it's fun.
Yeah. Well,
Ah,
right
that's
now, yeah, our house is over on pier posts over the sea. We have a house we've built right over the ocean, so I get to look at the ocean every day and
ah,
wake up to it. But it's built a story up, so you go up 13 stairs, and it's great for now. It keeps me fit and healthy, but maybe not forever.
I don't know. You seem pretty healthy to me.
I am
I
very
feel
healthy.
like you're thriving away.
I am. I am. I take no medications, and
Nice.
I'm very active every day. So.
Nice. I love it. I love it. And I think what you're doing is amazing. So, how can people at the Dwanderful universe, how can we help you reach your next goal?
Reach my next goal? Oh my goodness. Well, I'm at the stage where I'm open for, people who are interested in investing at this stage, being part of the company and the founders of it. I do have people interested, but I need to raise $7 million. So
Okay. No, I mean, that's one of the things that I tell, I like to ask everyone I interview is what can we do to help you reach your next goal? And if
absolutely.
you need people to invest in Panama, you need to raise $7
Yes, in
million.
Panama.
Come on,
I
guys, all
believe
of us sitting around with money. Right there you go.
I believe it's a great diversification for people living in the United States who want to diversify their real estate investments.
Yeah.
You might think you're diversified, and I have a little booklet that I wrote, 7 signs that you're overinvested in the United States, so that you should diversify more. And why not in Panama, where it's up and coming and the economy is good and the canal, holds it all together. And
Yeah. Yeah, I've been to Panama, well, just on cruises. I think I've been there twice. And one time I took my dad on a cruise and we went through on the cruise
the
ship, like
canal,
through the whole canal. It's like,
yeah,
that's such a neat thing. And we got off
absolutely.
and went shopping. I don't know where we went, but they took us to like a giant mansion that had a giant pool and people were serving food and everything. I don't even know where. And it was like,
Um,
this place is so beautiful.
yeah, it's a stunning country. I think everyone should at least come and visit because there's so many places you can um, go and enjoy different types of living. City
Mhm.
living in Panama City, where 2 of the 4 million people live. Country living on either of those farms or the mountains, and coastal living on either of the 2 oceans, the Pacific Ocean or the Caribbean Ocean. So you've got a lot of diversification just in what people may want. If it's too hot for you on the beach, you just go 3 hours into the mountains and you've got the 75-degree weather instead of the 85.
Nah, I'm a beach girl. I'll be visiting you at the beach.
Yeah, yeah.
So let me ask you some personal questions. What's your favorite band of all time?
Oh, that's easy. The Beatles.
I love the Beatles.
They are the best band of all time
I
to
really,
me.
I agree. My husband, we have 4 grandkids, so they're 10, 9, 5, and 3. So
Right.
we are the ones teaching them about music, and we started off like 2 years ago. And we buy them like they have a little CD player. They have like 50 CDs each, but they're kids, and we don't want them like on their phone and using the internet and stuff. And so we started off with music from the 70s because that was like the last decade where there was no cursing in all the music. Because then, after by the 80s, they were cursing.
Yes.
And now they just say, like, the music's so vile. I'm just like, ugh. So,
It's so different. So different. Yeah.
ah,
Everything then was about love and peace and,
yes.
you know,
So we just bought them all Beatles CDs, and they
yeah,
are in love with the Beatles. And
I would too.
so we do the Beatles. We got them some John Denver stuff. Any band from the 70s, but not like the Stones or Aerosmith, because they're kids. That's like a little bit too hard, I feel like, for them.
Uh-huh.
But I told my husband, I said, the Beatles is safe. Every song, they were unbelievably amazing. They changed the world. And my grandkids wear Beatles t-shirts and they go to school and they talk to the teachers about music. My 10-year-old, and she loves Queen. So she talks to her teachers about Queen, Tom Petty, and the Beatles. And they're like, "How old are you?" She's like, "Oh, my Pappy Mimi. It's the best music ever." So that's who they love. They love it. And I'm just like, and it's innocent music. It's like things were just so simple then.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
miss how
I
simple
agree.
things used to be. What's your favorite food? What do you love to eat?
My favorite food, watermelon.
Mm, I love that
I
too.
love fruit. We have such wonderful tropical fruits here. And so I eat watermelon, mango, and pineapple every day.
Every day. Okay, so now do you salt your watermelon? Salt or no salt?
No salt. I don't have to. It's really sweet.
Oh, it is. I have always, we grew up in the country. So we raised watermelons and, uh, pumpkins and cantaloupe and all that. I don't know. My dad or someone's like, "Hey, put some salt on that." So I have eaten watermelon with salt on it my whole
Well,
life.
I have eaten it that way. And my understanding was that the salt was to make it taste sweeter.
I don't know. My grandkids, I only have one grandkid that likes it that way. The rest, like, no, it's good like it is. So no, it is good like it is. That
It is
I
good
think
like it is.
from childhood, I just did that. I'm like, this is so yummy this way. What's your favorite time of day? When are you the
Morning.
happiest?
Sunrise is my favorite time of day. I am a morning person all the way. And I have my morning routine that I mostly don't let anything interrupt. I wake up at sunrise and first thing I do is meditate, to get my day started right.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it's beautiful where you're at. Okay, so the last question for you, Miss Anne Michelle. I always like my guests to leave us with a word of wisdom, but just one single word.
oh my goodness. Well, diversify.
Okay.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Okay, so what we do in the Dwanderful universe is every week, because I have a guest, I do one podcast a week, and I tell everyone, take that word, write it down, stick it on your mirror, and every day for that week, say diversify, diversify, diversify. So that's our official word of the week in Dwanderful. And so what is diversify? Because you kind of said it, but what does it mean to you?
What it means to me, I think of it in the world of real estate and investment because everyone wants to have a good retirement, right?
Yep.
Everyone. But they don't always know how to get there. And so many people get to retirement age and don't have enough saved. But if you follow very simple principles with financial education, which I'm sure you teach, and I don't teach formally, but I teach people within my sphere, that kind of thing. And you say, you have your buckets for saving and investments and
Yep.
emergency funds and all that stuff. Vacation fund, very important too.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. And then you begin investing first, maybe in your backyard where you're learning about everything, and then maybe diversifying out into other cities in your state, and then maybe even out of state in other states in the US, which I also did. I had investments in 4 states at one point in my career.
Nice.
And then for me, the next logical step was to go out of the country abroad, and I could have invested in Italy. I could have invested lots of Portugal, lots of places, but I happened to choose Panama. And I think that people should consider investing outside the United States, whether it's Panama or another foreign country that they think is really great.
Yeah, no, I have to work so hard with investors now to get them just to invest outside of their state. I'm
Exactly.
like, we live in Colorado, so like up here where I live, my son just bought a house in my subdivision. They're $850,000. So it's like if you want to buy that and you have it for a rental, if it's empty for 2 months, can you even afford to keep up with it? And my husband is
Exactly.
from Clinton, Iowa, which is right on the Mississippi River and is very, very Midwest. You can buy a really nice 3 bed, 2 bath house for like 60 grand. And they rent for
Exactly.
1,200. So I'm like, tell me, like, listen, you can't always invest where you live. Like California is expensive. Colorado is so expensive. Phoenix, some of these places, I'm like, go to the Midwest. Just go like to Iowa and Ohio and go to the Midwest where you can buy cheaper things, get in a good area, good neighborhood and do that. So it's like pulling teeth to get people just to invest out of their own state. But we can send them your way, like say, listen, I got someone in Panama that will hook you up all the way and put some money down there.
Exactly. And so if you put your eggs in all the different baskets, like we're saying. Choose places other than especially if your backyard is expensive, like you were saying. Totally agree with you. Then when a downturn does happen, you still have something that's probably going to be okay.
Exactly.
And a little bit in the stock market too. You got to have a little bit everywhere.
A little bit everywhere, a little crypto. I like crypto a little bit. So a little crypto, a
A little
little
bit of
stock
crypto,
market.
yep, a little of everything.
A little of
A little
everything.
bit of gold.
Yep. Yeah. Well, that's one thing. We have so much gold and silver. And not at my house for anybody listening. So,
Right.
but you just need to have a lot of stuff because you never know what's happening. If, the power grid goes down,
Yep.
your crypto and your dollar bills aren't going to be worth anything. You need to have some gold and silver. So
Yep.
you just got to
That's why.
just diversify into many things. So, well, so I
Mhm.
really love getting to know you, Miss Ann Michelle. I would consider coming down in a couple of years and maybe helping you with some investing down in Panama. It sounds amazing.
Oh, I think we'll be well on our way by then, and you'll be very welcome.
Yes, I want to be in that beach air all the time.
Yeah, we've got 5 beautiful beaches. There's, it's incredible. There's 9 islands, and every island has a windward side and a leeward side. And on the leeward sides of the islands is all mangrove that, supports the environment. And on the windward sides of the island is where the beaches are. So
Yeah.
they're not everywhere, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I know exactly. It sounds like you found a beautiful spot for yourself.
We found a great spot. So,
All right, everyone. We'll be back next week. Don't forget Dwanderful.com. And don't forget Passive Partner Profits. Also look for Ann Michelle. It's ANNEMICHELLE, Wand, WAND, on LinkedIn. And think about doing some investing outside of the country. I know many, many, many people that are my age right now that are moving to Panama and Puerto Rico and places like that. So keep it in mind, everybody. And thank you, my darling, for being on. You're just so great. And the fact that you went to Woodstock, I was like, we're going to sit down one day and you have to tell me all about it. It sounds amazing. And we'll be back next week, same bat time, same bat channel. And remember that the truth is in the red letters. All right, everybody, have a good week. Miss Ann Michelle, thank you. And we'll be back next week. I am so glad that you stuck around. I almost forgot to tell you. In addition to having this amazing educational podcast, I'm now able to work with you one-on-one. Yes, one-on-one, you and me working together, and have a 3-deal guarantee. 3-deal guarantee that you'll close 3 deals. So you have nothing to lose. You have everything to gain. Take the quiz. Go to Dwanderful.com. Take the real estate investing quiz. See you on the other side.